Well, good morning and welcome to the beautiful Manly Beach here in the northern beaches of Sydney for the FIVB World Tour of Beach Volleyball. Hello and welcome. My name is Jonathan Fogarty. It is a privilege to be here with you today, and who better to join me than a lady who's spent a lot of her playing days training and loving this part of the world and lives here still, Kerry Pothast. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Jonathan. What an amazing day we've put on for beach volleyball here. The locals are coming out, the surfers are in the water, and we have a semi-final cracker of a game coming up.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Japan versus China for a spot in the gold medal match. Suzu Futami and Akiko Hasegawa from Japan, part of this wonderful Japanese squad. And then, of course, Fan Wang and Xin Yisha, the Chinese combination. So really interesting, really physically different styles, and they play a very different game. I'm sitting back not sure which way this one might go, Kerry.
Well, so far China have dominated Japan in this event. China have 3 teams here. Japan have 4 teams here. These are the 2 best teams of both nations. China have played, as I said, quite a few times against Japan so far, and they've been dominant. All
right, let's see what the conditions are like down there. Joining us on the sand is Mr. Randy Stoklos. G'day, mate.
Thank you, Jonathan. What a day it is. The second semifinal here. This is going to be a bit of a dogfight. Defensively prone teams. They're really after the ball each and every time they go and play the game. I think possibly the difference in this game could be you on the China team in regards to her blocking ability, putting some pressure on the Japanese. But you'll see this game, in my prediction, is a 3-set match, and a very exciting one it is, and it will be.
Well, he's a better judge of a beach volleyball match than me. Randy Stoklos, 5-time world champion, all-round good guy. Great to have Randy down there, looking great as always. So conditions are good. The Manly environment and community, Kerry, there's a really multicultural part of the world. So there'll be absolutely Japanese fans here. There'll be absolutely Chinese fans here. It'll be a really interesting neutral match for the crowd.
I think so too. I think Manly just loves, and the locals here, they love beach volleyball. We have 8 permanent courts on Manly Beach. They're full all the time. It is the weekend. My son right now is out the back training. He's 11 years old, and they have a junior training camp every Sunday with the legend Julian Prosser, also 3-time Olympian, and a Manly local. So, you know, there's all sorts of social players all the way through to the elite, and now they get to watch the best in the world compete here in such a fantastic setup. The stadium is incredible. We have a lot of corporate facilities, which has been amazing. We have so much corporate support. You can see a list of all our supporters and sponsors. And we have a great viewing area for the public. And, of course, they're standing 3 or 4 deep on the wall. They were last night for the finals, the men's finals. And they will be this afternoon. They're already building up there. They will be this afternoon for the women's gold medal match as well, and the bronze medal match. But right now we have to decide who is going to make that gold medal match.
And we should point out for those who maybe just be joining the coverage that we've already decided one team that will be in the gold medal match. The women's gold medal match already has one team booking their spot. The Australian combination of Maria Fay Arpacho del Solar and Taliqua Clancy were dominant over the Austrian combination of Schutzenhofer and Plesiuchnik. So congratulations, Aussies already in there. They'll be sitting back, Kerry, watching this match with interest, and probably to Randy's point, they'll be really pleased to see a really long, tough, torrid 3-setter in this second semi-final, I'm sure.
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot warmer this afternoon when they play their finals, the bronze and gold medal matches, because it'll be the middle of the day. It's still a little bit cool, but sometimes it's quite deceptive. It's only in the low 20s here in Manly, but down on the sand, you can see there's a brick wall or a sandstone wall behind the girls there. That wall's about 3 metres high, and on top of that, it's nice and cool, but down on the sand, it's actually a little hot box.
Absolutely.
So these players are already sweating, but, you know, both China and Japan, they come from nations that are very humid and very hot, and they'll be used to this sort of heat. So the Asian countries love the heat. Often the Europeans find it a little bit more oppressing. We saw the boys yesterday, they struggled.
Absolutely. The athletes being introduced to the crowd. The Chinese in the yellow. Athlete number 1 is Fan Wang, the taller of the 2 Chinese ladies. Xin Yisha, the number 2, is her partner. Japanese ladies coming out now. Her number 1 is Suzu Futami. Her partner will be Akiko Hasegawa. So part of this squad. We talked a little bit yesterday, Kerry, you know, for Japan, their efforts, they are firmly focused on 2020 and a home Olympics. So all of these events, the whole squad travels, the whole squad watches these games, it helps with stats, and, you know, it's not just the Japanese girls on court, it's a much broader canvas, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a big support team. All teams nowadays have a very big support team unless they're just starting out and just finding their feet. But as soon as they find some success, coaches come on board. There's coaches, medical staff, statisticians, video staff, all sorts of people there to support these teams to get the best out of them.
All right, so we're underway. Semi-final number 2 on the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour. And that will be something you'll have to get used to if you're a Japanese defender, the side of Fan Wang for China, crushing the cross-court ball. She's the one with the real height advantage. So it will be interesting to see whether they see her as a serve reception liability or whether they get the ball to her because she can really put it down.
And that's what Japan is so good at. They're finding that really, the extra few inches on the court, right near the lines, the corners. They're so well drilled. She had a little look. She saw that Shah was on the angle. Shah was still able to touch that ball, so that's going to tell her a little bit about the fact that she needs to play a faster shot perhaps next time. Nice bit of power there from China. And again, taken by the Japanese, but it's just a bit too hard. One-handed dig, couldn't control that. So the Chinese girls, I'd say, are going to be looking for a lot more power. Japan are going to be looking to play a few more shots. But of course, their defense is exceptional.
China with the serve again. Very early stages, semi-final. And number 2, a spot in the gold medal match, a guaranteed medal. I know the athletes don't think that way. I'm sure that is the very last thing from their minds, a guaranteed medal. But it's an important event for these teams, isn't it? As the rest of the World Tour calendar is now being finalised. They're looking at where they're going to go and earning points. You know, a good performance here in Australia sets them up for the rest of the tour really well.
Yeah, it does. And if they're trying to play new partnerships, where some of our Australian teams are trying out new partnerships, so these countries are also trying out partnerships because the qualification for 2020 will start next year.
Wow.
So it starts pretty early. They need to get their skates on to work out who's going to play with who. So these events are really important. But of course, there's a fair bit of prize money on the books to earn from this, as well as the medals, the pride, and just that bit of confidence over the other nations to take down each other and make it onto the podium.
Suzu Futami serving for the Japanese. 3-all scoreboard, really close and even early stages. Nice second ball played by Hasegawa, crushing that one away. So that'll give Japan a 4-3 lead, folks. We play best of 3 sets. You have to win 2 sets to win the match. We played point per rally, so every time the ball is served, someone gets a point. And if you win the first set, it'll be the first team to 21 with a 2-point margin. So you see the athletes changing ends every 7 points in that setup, but no real obvious better end of the court yet, Kerry. It's pretty even to both sides.
Absolutely, but I think this is going to be a battle because both these teams, they're very similar. They're different in height. The Chinese have got a little bit of height over the Japanese, but the Japanese make up for that with their ball control. And the Chinese are not bad in ball control either, so really it's going to be a bit of a cat and mouse game. You know, that time the Japanese looking to get a short sideline serve, see whether they can, you know, get a little point here from a bad dig, but it was a beautiful dig. And it gave Shah the opportunity to hit on too.
If I could try and isolate what the tactics seem to be from Japan straight up, they seem to be going clearly at Fan Wang, the number 1 on screen at the moment with the ball, and they seem to be trying to move her around, move her forward on serve reception, move her sideways on serve reception. So whether that's a combination of a belief that they think perhaps her serve receive isn't solid, and also they're trying to, you know, run the petrol out as quickly as possible.
I would say that's it. She's the taller of the two. She's running to the net and blocking. Maybe they are trying to tire her out early in the game. They're going the other side this time to Shah, so sometimes hard to tell what their strategy is.
Well, they look like they completely lost their shape, and perhaps the communication. They both ended up in an I formation, which is about as useless, unfortunately, as it gets defensively. You can see neither of the athlete really in a position to do anything effectively in defence, so that seems like a bit of a breakdown. Structurally, they'll shake that off, I'm sure, but then a tough serve. So 6-all, nice serving, a nice play by Shin Shah, the number 2.
Both these teams have great standing float serves. So for the viewer at home, for us sitting here, it doesn't look that difficult, but I tell you what, when you're standing out there, you don't know if it's going out to the left, to the right, you know, whether it's going to dip down low. Really difficult to take, but Japan that time, beautiful set. And they love their game. Look at the smiles. They really enjoy good volleyball. They're really respectful, beautiful girls. All 4 of them, lovely girls, have come a long way to play here on our beaches, and they really love Manly Beach. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and absolutely, and they've been wonderful, wonderful tourists, and very pleased to have them here, I must admit. So, I wanted to ask you about the ball, Kerry, and your comments about the ball moving around in the air. Ball technology has changed a lot since your era, which is not that long ago, but it's a different ball, different panels, and not different shape. All the balls are round, but it is a different style of ball. Does it float around and do stuff in the air more nowadays than the type of ball that you played with, do you think? Is it something that it's a new factor, perhaps?
I think you've just stumped me, John. I don't know the answer.
Success.
I haven't really played, obviously, myself, but I would say that as technology gets better, the ball does float more. I would say that it does float more now, and it perhaps is more difficult. The ball is a little heavier than it was back in my days, a little bit smaller. They're always trying to vary the conditions to make it more exciting for the fans to watch, maybe make the rallies a little bit longer. That's why they made the court a little bit smaller a few years ago. Beautiful block by Japan. You don't see that very often.
Yeah. Suzu Futami, she did like that one. A nice sort of chiming in at the net. You don't, as you say, the Japanese team are going to play a lot of defence, but just a nice reminder that they've got the ability, really good, strong press on the ball. Maybe not in a great position to make the block, but a strength kind of made the difference there.
Yeah, sometimes when you're a shorter player, timing is crucial, and I think as a shorter blocker, your timing, you can kind of be deceptive because the spiker can't see you coming.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're there, and they hang. So we talk about hang time. Some of these players can really sort of jump and just hang in the air a little bit and decide where they're going to place the ball. Beautiful defense from China. Another opportunity here. And a good joust.
China didn't like that. They felt that they had perhaps maybe drawn a net touch out of the Japanese, but I think the first referee's spot on his call. You'll see the 2 athletes coming together, ball on the net, so it's a joust and a push. And the shorter athlete, yeah, you can see Fan Wong asking for a net touch on Japan, but not to be, so good strength. I like that.
Hasegawa having to go again. They're really working on her side out. And that time a little error from Japan oversetting. So China getting that point with a big over-the-top block. Just too tall that time.
And I guess that's the thing for Japan. They just need to be conscious of the height advantage that they're giving away, particularly to Fan Wang at the net. So if they set the ball too close, it's going to be trouble. They just need to set it in the right spot so they can get a good play at it, but without inviting the Chinese blocker to come in and disrupt their attack.
That was a nice outside-in type slice. Yeah, she showed it again there. Hasegawa was facing to the left, but she really turned her shoulder around. You see how she turned her shoulder around. That's a difficult ball, but well played.
All right, so they come back to the service line with a 10-all scoreboard. So really, as we thought, maybe carrying nothing in this one. Both teams playing some nice volleyball. China v Japan. China serve receiving now, and a chance for Xinyi Xia to take him out to the technical timeout. So 11-10. This has been a real arm wrestle. Japan, China for the second semi-final. Mr. Randy Stoklos courtside. Wondering, Randy, do you see anything yet or any patterns emerging?
Well, a little bit. Obviously, the Chinese scoring a couple points in a row there with their blocking ability brought them back into the game. But for me, look out for the short serve. There's little or no wind right now. Japanese have been very, very smart, serving a short ball, getting the Chinese into some passing problems. They passed the ball a couple times into the net. And again, this has been a dogfight going back and forth, and expect this one to be just the way it is.
Yeah, there you go. So, and a bit of a confirmation from Randy courtside about the conditions. So, you know, not a lot of easy points from big serves yet. It's about, you know, really making the opposition play every ball. So, this is a taxing kind of game, isn't it, Kerry? When there's a bit of breeze, or you can really unload on your jump serve and just get a couple of cheap points, it just seems to give you a bit more energy back. But if you've got to dig every ball and play every rally, that can really sap the energy, can't it?
Oh, totally, and that's why serving is so important. Unless you're putting the pressure on and really making it hard, which is difficult with both these teams because they're so skillful, and it's difficult to make points.
Yeah, nice turnaround from Xinyi Xia. The serve was pretty good. She defensively held a position. She dialed into that cross-court position early, and then stayed there, got the ball back, and her transition setting of her partner was pretty good. Fan Wong putting her on the net, so that's a good play. Gives them a 2-point break at 12-10. Japan need to turn this one around. They won't be hitting in a great position, but the shot's good enough. So again, it's a couple of centimetres difference between the spiker there and the blocker, but if you are good enough with your ball control and your vision, that can be easily handled.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't put the Japanese girls in the middle of the court. I think they can chip around to the left and right just like they did then, and they can play deep and hit hard as well. I'd probably try and keep them outside. That ball was called in, so that's the type of serving, something a little bit different, a deep serve this time on China. It's going to try and push for a couple of cheap points here.
Akiko Hasegawa bringing up the ace, so that'll help them. There's nothing better than an ace to give you a bit of a boost. So here's a transition opportunity. This time Japan with a nice roll shot. So 13-12. You know, it's one team and then the other. One team will get 2 points, the next team will get 2 points. So neither squad really grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, a bit of a seesaw, I think.
13-12 now, Japan. The southern end of Manly Beach now, they've got the lead. They've got a chance to build another point. And they can't do it. It's Xinyi Xia, the Chinese lady, an off-speed from off the net, good composure.
Yeah, that was a little bit lucky. She played that almost standing on the ground. But still, she made the point after a couple of tough serves. So now it's China's turn to see if they can gain a little bit of an advantage here. Somebody needs to push in this middle part of the game. It's been locked up the entire set, so someone needs to make a bit of a push, do something a little bit different. That's a good serve through the middle. But again, the Japanese girls in the middle, and that time forcing the error. So the tough serve puts pressure on you. Even though you make a good pass, the pressure is there to then quickly move and get into position and make a good hit.
I guess, Kerry, it's about putting you out of the position that you would prefer to be attacking from. You're not going to necessarily serve an ace every time.
Exactly, and making you feel uncomfortable. So even though you might do a good pass, like I said, you had to do something uncomfortably and then try and make a good play out of it. But even Stevens now, as the players change ends, they do change ends every 7 points, multiple of 7 points, so they get the advantage of if there's any wind or sun that they have to look into to change it up.
All right, we have a 14-all scoreboard, folks. This is the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour Women's Semi-Final number 2 here from Manly Beach. First semi-final was an Australia-Austria affair, and the Australians have gone through to the gold medal match. The Austrians will play the loser of this match in the bronze medal match later today. Of course, the winner of this goes through to meet Australia. So both of the last semi-finalists, no doubt, watching this game with interest to see who their opponents will be. Currently, it is pretty hard to predict. Kerry Potthast joins me in commentary. It is 15-all, and neither team, Kerry, as you have said, has really grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck and wants to take it away, do they?
I think if China can be a bit more aggressive, like their last couple of hits have been hard, that can maybe just, as a little bit of a downer towards Japan, make them feel small. That was a nice roll shot, but if they just show a bit more aggression, it could mentally create a point. I know that's hard to imagine, but somebody has to do something to get that difference. That was a nicely played shot, but Japan aren't going to be too phased because they like to just chase shots down.
All right, 16-15, China getting a 2-point break, so that's handy at this stage. Again, as Kerry said, we go to 21 points, folks. So China through Xinyi Xia, good serve, and then a good pull off the net by Fan Wong, but the blocker turned defender, and it kind of almost forced the error from Japan. So 17-15, Xia serves again for the Chinese outfit, a 2-point lead. Japan a must-win rally. You'd think they'll get a second play at it. It's going to be Akiko Hasegawa to do something, and gets it done the second time. So good composure. Girls looking like they're working pretty hard. So it looks like a little bit of energy conservation going on, Kerry.
Yeah, look, the other thing I think China could do is maybe pull off the net a bit more against Japan and make them hit the ball, which they did the previous point to win a point. Japanese have to keep the Chinese perhaps pretty deep so they don't get a good setup like that and be able to swing away.
Yeah, it really brings the height of China into the game, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's really inviting them in, as you said. 18-16, so is this 2-point margin all that is going to be between these two teams as we creep ever closer to 21 points. Fan Wong, the tall Chinese lady, serving deep into the corner. The roll shot was out. I think it was a little touch off the block. Ooh, I felt there was maybe a touch. I think the ball was out.
Definitely out, but I would say if there was a touch.
This will be an interesting replay. Watching the Chinese blocker.
Perhaps no touch.
Okay. And thumbs up from Fan Wong. She knew it was out, so all right. That is an interesting point of time in this match. So 19-16 will be the score.
Yeah, so
change ends.
2 quick errors from Japan, really struggling to get around the block of the Chinese. Gives the Chinese players a little bit of an advantage. And the big block, so that'll set them up now. They're getting close.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, I believe, will be set point when we come back. We're going to go into a timeout situation. It should be set point. Randy's down there on the sand. This game has just changed complexion slightly.
Yes, it has, Jonathan. You know, the exciting thing for the Chinese, they took advantage with a little bit of wind in their face, serving to the ocean side. They scored a couple points, switched sides right now. They're really in their game right now. Obviously, the difference was, like I thought it could be, the blocking ability of the big Chinese blocker at the net. Certainly scoring a critical point there to go, 20 up and have some point game opportunities right now to win the first set.
Well, thank you, Randy. Just confirming it is a set point situation of China. So China have a set point on the board. In fact, a couple. So women's semi-final number 2. Hope you're enjoying. What absolutely gorgeous scenes. Tell us about that end of the beach. Kerry, that looks a great spot.
That end of the beach is Queenscliff, and there's some beautiful apartments and homes on the cliffs there. And as we come closer, there's North Stain. It's a surf club there. We have 3 surf clubs on the beach at Manly. So Queenscliff Surf Club through to North Stain, all the way down to the southern end where the Manly Surf Club is.
All right, confirming that score, 20 points to 16 and an ace. What an absolutely perfect way to use the set point opportunity. So Fan Wang, Xin Yisha, the Chinese girls, it was absolutely neck and neck, and then all of a sudden they've sort of jumped out. A couple of errors from Japan at 21-16. So, boy, Japan will go back and sit down and wonder what just happened. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it is going to be the second set, women's semi-final number 2.
Sydney, surrounded by pristine national parks, riverways, stunning water views, iconic beaches, and coastal walks from the north to the south, all with the beautiful harbour at its heart. You'll love every second of Sydney. Discover more at sydney.com.
Welcome back to Manly Beach. We are standing by to start the second set. Women's semi-final number 2, a spot in the gold medal match at stake. China, through Fan Wang and Xin Yisha, have taken the first set over the Japanese combination of Asuza Fatami and Kiko Hasegawa. Kerry Potash joins me in commentary. Kerry, just 1 or 2 moments made all the difference between winning and losing that first set.
Yeah, both teams were really focused all the way through until Japan made 2 little errors, and that cost them the set. And then obviously the rolling serve that hit the top of the net, and there's another error. So that's one thing that Japan, you don't see that very often, but the Chinese just put pressure on you. They're there, they do the tough serves, anything near the net, they'll put it away, they'll block a ball. So right now, China just that little bit extra focus, and that's all it takes when the teams are very evenly matched in the semi-final. That's a better little roll
That's exactly
shot.
what she was looking for. So we're underway again. Semi-final number 2, a spot in the gold medal match here. The FIVB World Tour of Beach Volleyball. Beautiful part of the world is Australia. Beautiful part of Australia is Sydney, and even better, the jewel in the crown. We are here on Manly Beach on the northern beaches, and it is absolutely perfect conditions for watching beach volleyball. I wonder if you ask the athletes, they would maybe like it a little cooler, Kerry.
Yeah, right now possibly a little cooler. I can't imagine, you know, it's only 24 degrees. If it was actually 35 or something like that, which we get quite often here in the summer, it would be closer to 45 down there on the court because it's so... and then Japan do what China did in the last set.
I think they were owed one of those.
Yeah, they were.
Fair.
They were, so it's even now. But the ball is allowed to hit the top of the net. But it is incredibly warm down there for the athletes. You can see they're sweating quite a bit. They're wiping their glasses a lot. They're working pretty hard, but they are used to the heat. This is, of course, beach volleyball. We played in all sorts of conditions. There's a nice swing by China, very aggressive.
And nice moment of diplomatic niceness between the Chinese and Japanese.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not sure what the Chinese expression for sorry, not sorry is. Maybe it is exactly that. It is 3-all, Fan Wong serving and tagging the baseline off. Kiko Hasegawa, she just had that hard-driven ball at her, and then she lets her serve go over her shoulder and it tags the baseline. Oh, sometimes you just want a shovel to dig a hole for yourself out there in centre court.
Well, there are 64 square centimetres of sand out there that you've got to cover. The sand is hot. As it gets hotter throughout the day, you might see that we actually water the sand down because it gets so hot. But in that box, you're always running around and moving it, so it kind of stays warmish. Another big hot block from China there. So this is the first time, you know, in the beginning of the first set, they didn't really have much more than 2-point lead. So if China can take a bit more of a lead here, I'd say that they'll be more likely to keep it. But see what Japan can do. They've got to get their focus back.
Absolutely. So this is another opportunity. They keep going at Akiko Hasegawa, the number 2 for Japan, but she more composed and that time keeps her balance really well. I guess as a shorter athlete, and the Japanese are probably a better example than the Chinese, as soon as they approach too early and they get the ball a bit behind their head, it's a lot harder for them to do something with it, where for the Chinese, a bit taller, they seem to be able to get out of jail a little easier with the extra arm length and extra height sometimes.
Yeah, they can still snap it down as well. But as a blocker, you really need to watch the shorter athletes. As soon as that ball goes up high and they can't see the court in front of them, as a blocker, you could pull off the net and then, of course, it's much easier to dig a ball. But in the heat of the moment, it's so easy for us to say what they should be doing. Yeah. We're not out there.
Yeah, the brains are getting hotter, aren't they? And decisions are harder to make when you're under pressure and hot. Maybe down on some scoreboard pressure at the moment as well for Japan. So they are just losing their shape a little bit, Kerry.
Yeah, defense is good, but that set was just too difficult for Hasegawa to try and have a hit. Oh, her partner was in the way. She couldn't get in there. She didn't want to step on top of her.
So we're going to see a bit of a timeout call. Japan not happy with their start of the second set. Randy Stoklos joins us courtside. Randy, what words of advice would you have for the Japanese at this time?
Thank you, Jonathan. I think China's figured it out, serving from the south side into just a little barely of a breeze, but they're obviously putting a little pressure on the Japanese. I think it's up to Hasegawa to really come in and lift up her game. Passing the ball to the net is going to make her see the court a little easier. Right now, the balls are coming over her shoulders, and it's a much harder ball to hit. Look for the Japanese to try to change that going forward, but the China team putting awful big pressure on the Japanese right now.
Yeah, they certainly are, my friend. Thank you. Sideline commentary from the wonderful Randy Stoklos, the unofficial Australian volleyball ambassador. We'll give him a title. He's done such a great job. Lovely to have Randy back in this country. So, scoreboard tells a bit of a tale. 1-0 China, eventually a comfortable 21-16 first set win. It could have gone either way, and then they've kept that roll going. So 7-4 is certainly a handy lead, certainly not fatal, but just exactly what Stokey asked for. Hasegawa keeping the ball in front of her and opening up the court.
Yeah, as soon as Japan have a block, they've got more to work around. You know, they can hit around that block, but they can also shoot around that block. See if they can make a couple of points. Tough serve. It went over the net for a winner.
Wow.
That's just luck there for China. It was a mistake by Shah, but she'll take it.
Yeah, just the fortune. Oh, look at that. It just those little 50-50 things. I feel like China have got the vast majority of the fortune, if that is even a thing. They certainly had a couple of good breaks go their way. But the Japanese girls, they're stoic and composed. They are, you talked about their temperament, Kerry, so you don't see them getting emotional and flustered too much.
No, absolutely not. And I love their deception as well. Hasegawa was really facing quite in the middle of the court, even down the line, and she just used that inside-out shoulder that she's got to make the cut shot. So using every skill they've got because they want to get into this gold medal match, as do China.
Oh, there's a little opportunity. We had Fan Wang, the tall Chinese number one, really, it was a good set, and she liked the look of it, so she thought, I'm going to go hard cross-court on this ball. I want to take it on, but just maybe a little too aggressive and has missed the sideline. So Japan, back-to-back points, close the gap to 7-8. Hasegawa serves again to Wong, saying, what else have you got? Can you repeat the dose? And Wong intelligently dials it right back.
Yeah, just an easy over the block for her. It was almost like a hit. She kind of hit it down. She didn't have too big a block to go over. Just made a fast shot to the line.
I think, if anything, perhaps the block for Japan was a little early, or maybe Warren was tall enough to just delay a spike long enough. It certainly looked like the block really wasn't effective. So 9-7 China. We've got a nice little tussle at their net now this time. It is a Susan Fatami, the number one. So haven't seen her get a lot of the serve. But she handled that one from the middle well. And that disguise to cut the ball across her shoulder. So it only looks like a gentle push, but there is a lot of skill and athleticism. And then they can't back it up. So China 10-8. Conditions getting very humid, very difficult out there, Kerry, and you've got to keep the mind sharp. Got to keep your focus.
Almost a block for China there. She was waiting to block the shot. Her hands just not in the perfect over the net position. Yeah, she was almost turning inside too early. So lucky point there for Japan.
All right, so 9-10 Japan trying to stay with the Chinese, trying to take a lead. Now the crowd would love to see a three-setter. That is that cross-court angle. She tried it before, recalibrated, and that looks really hard to stop. If you're the Japanese defensive coach, you're kind of thinking, how do I take that shot away? Because that seems to be really hard to handle.
Yeah, well, just previous to that, she made a really nice line shot. So as a defender, if you stand on that far angle to dig that, you're giving up the whole line and opening it up for her. So you've really got to make a choice and hope that they don't see that choice.
All right, so 10-11 scoreboard. We are in the technical timeout, semi-final number 2, Japan v China. It's nice and close. Randy's down on the sand. It still is evenly poised, this match, Randy.
Well, China had really great opportunities this last couple points serving from the south. There's a little bit of a wind that's coming off of the northeast right now. Just a little bit of a trickle, but it's definitely affecting the serving right now. Look for Japan to now go to the good side, and let's see if they can take advantage of the same tactical maneuvers that the Chinese are doing, serving and serving tough.
All right, so you see the athletes taking their well-earned water break. Their teams take a break at 21 points on the board in the first and second sets. We call it the technical timeout. Look at this beautiful Sunday morning crowd here down in Manly. All these wonderful people, probably all friends of Kerry Potthast's.
I don't have that many friends, Jonathan. They're my friends in the background there on the beach.
They're having a nice time.
They're all going for a swim.
Absolutely. It's something quintessentially Australian, folks. If you're watching internationally, wherever you're watching around the world, the Australian beach culture, surf lifesaving, living close to the coastline, and is quintessentially Australian, isn't it, Kerry?
Absolutely. We love our coastline. It's where most of the population, of Australia are. Beautiful beaches.
Absolutely. Beautiful line shot from Fan Wang, so nice and controlled. 12-10, second semi-final at the FIVB World Tour of Beach Volleyball here at Manly Beach. So great to have the World Tour back. This is a 2-star event. The FIVB has created a structure and a ranking system of World Tour events to allow nations like Australia and others to put on these events and get these teams here. And this is a 2-star, men and women. Of course, we saw the men conclude their event yesterday, Kerry, a really nice result and some good matches. We saw Australia take 4th They lost to a really good USA team, Kalinsky and Evans, and then the Canadian team of Ben Saxton and Grant O'Gorman took the gold medal over the team from France and Yusuf Crew and Quincy Eye. Some really great beach volleyball on the men's yesterday.
Some fantastic beach volleyball, very high standard. Disappointing for the Aussies, but they'll be able to regroup, use that as experience. Nice swing this time from Japan. Good to see them bring the heat. So from the outside, again, I think maybe China should back off the net a little bit. Let Japan try and hit, have two defenders there to receive that. And perhaps Japan should try and really push the Chinese girls nice and deep. When they're comfortable, they've got the whole court in front of them. They can see everything. They can make those plays. Even though the serves are tough, they're still coming around the kind of what we call the basket, their area of easy play. They don't have to move too far to get it.
14-11 the scoreboard now. This is Xinyi Xia, who hasn't seen a lot of serve reception. They've absolutely been serving at her partner Fan Wang with the number 1. So is it time maybe to think about, you know, the number 2 on screen at the moment? Do we need to bring her into the game a bit more and test her serve reception abilities and her hitting abilities? Perhaps is it time? How as a team is it communication where you decide let's change who we're targeting with the serve, or it just tends to happen naturally?
Well, absolutely. There has to be communication between the two players, two partners, to know who you're going to serve and what their strengths are and how you're going to try and attack them. So they'll be talking about it as they walk back now. Japan will be talking about what to do. Should we try Xia? Should we stay on Wang? Should we block angle perhaps and look for a line shot? So far, Wang's just using a line shot and a hard angle. Going back to her again. This time they did. They used the angle block and the line, looking for the line shot, but she played that line shot so fast and beautifully that even though Japan was there, you see she's going for the line. It was just too fast. She couldn't get it. So
yeah, absolutely. So the defensive lunge was
executing it too well.
Absolutely. Sorry, 15-12. So China, again, as they did in the first set, at this point of the set, in the first set, they really put their foot down and opened up a bit of a gap. We were at 15-all in the first set, and then all of a sudden it was 21-16 China. Japan have to make up that ground. So China may be only 6 points away from the gold medal match. It is really now time for Japan to close this gap, or if they keep going point for point, this will be over very shortly and they'll be off to the bronze medal. So the number 2, Kiko Hasegawa, probably not helping their cause with a service error.
No, she's going for a deep serve through the middle, trying to mix up the two Chinese players, see if she could cause some pressure there.
So 16-13 now, the scoreboard. Xinyi Xia for China. She's on the serve. Going to go to Hasegawa. Hasegawa well handled. Wang has got a chance to crush this one. Crush it she does. 17-13 at an important point of this match. China have put their foot down.
Well, that was the play I was talking about, where they had to back off the net and let Japan try and play the ball to them, which they did. Here she might be looking to back off again. No, she's staying on the net and takes the block this time. So great point for China again.
And that lady again, the number 1, Fan Wang, this time blocking. So she's really taken the back end of both sets into her hands and said, I want to take responsibility for our performance. And for the team from Japan, they're starting to look a little bit despondent. They're not sure how they're going to get themselves out of this situation, and perhaps a bit of a pause to clean the glasses. We just haven't seen Xinyi Xia, the number 2, who's got the ball now. We haven't really seen her spike. We haven't really seen her have to do a great deal of attacking, so we don't know. She might be a better spiker than her partner Fan Wang, but I think the Japanese attacking approach, going all at the number 1, hasn't paid dividends. It's maybe now time to change it, or else there'll be no time left.
Yeah, and it may be too late as well, because Xia, if she does get a couple of serves, she'll be ready because they've got the confidence, they've got the lead, they feel pretty good. She won't mind. She'll have one hit and take it away. I think they just need to keep the girls deep.
Finally, they hit Xinyi Xia.
There you go,
That's what we needed. See if they can get a block or a read on it. Well, they do get a read, but I've got to say she handled it really, really well. Not a lot of margin to work with. And 19-14, as you predicted, Kerry, she hit with real freedom. I guess the scoreboard gives them a bit of freedom as well. That's a nice play. So 19-14 now, second set action. It is looking a little bit like China might be playing Australia for the gold medal here at Manly unless Japan can pull off a rally for the ages. A second ball opportunity, not bad. So 15-19. Still a little bit of a heartbeat. You've got to think this next point's got to be Japan's as well.
We'll see. Will she go to Shah or will she go to Wong? Or will she just go through the middle?
An ace would be delightful for the Japanese at this stage. Can't find
Wong.
one. And the versatility, she goes cross-court hard, she hits line hard, she spikes so well, and they will change ends at 20 points to 15. And it's good news for China, folks, because they lead this match 1-0, and at 20 points to 15, Xinyi Xia, Fan Wong have got 5 match points and a date for the gold medal match against Australia if they can get one of them. Here we go. Match point ball for China. Hasegawa's going to have to do something nice. And Wong gets a good touch. She's going to get the chance to finish it. Can't do it on that first attempt. Shah, perhaps. Can she find a winner? Oh, like the first set ended, so does the second. And there it is, folks. China, Fan Wong and Xinyi Xia have won semi-final number 2, and they are off to a gold medal for Japan. Asuza Futami and Akiko Hasegawa. They will play Austria for the bronze, and Kerry Pottharst. China, I think, were the better team, absolutely.
Yeah, they really used their strength, their abilities. They stayed focused. They used their height. They hit hard. They definitely had the advantage over the Chinese in this match. So every match that China have played Japan so far in this match, whether it's one of these Chinese teams or another Chinese team, they've beaten. So China definitely the dominant country in this event.
Yeah, nice game. They just kept the pressure on consistently. They made very few errors. Japan were gallant, but I think they were really searching for answers against the hard hitting of Fan Wong. The good blocking and the defence of Shah was also very, very good. So a really complete performance. So the crowd here having a really nice time, but they're now seeing 2 semi-finals on the FIVB World Tour of Beach Volleyball. The 2 women's semi-finals are done, and that leaves us only with 2 matches to play here for Manly. That will be the bronze medal match. As we've said, we can confirm the result. It will be Austria versus Japan for the bronze medal. And then the one, Kerry, I know that you're very much looking forward to. It's going to be China versus Australia for the gold. What a way that'll be to finish it. But we're going to go sideline to our man on the sand, Mr. Steve Hart.
Yes, we certainly are set for a very exciting gold medal match. Girls, you there? You excited?
Oh, I'm so happy. And today is so hard. The sun is very hot, but it's Australia person, it's very hot.
It's very hot indeed. Very difficult conditions, and you're going to be playing the Australian girls. Do you think you can get the job done over them?
I think I enjoy the games. The Australia team is so tall. I can't block, so I'm enjoying for him and my partner together, the sun and the sun and the person.
Fantastic. It's going to be great. We look forward to seeing you girls in the final here on Manly Beach. It will be a wonderful final. Australia v China. We can't wait.
Yes, Steve, the joy. How delightful, Kerry Potter. What
Beautiful.
a lovely young lady, Fan Wong. You cannot fake that sort of joy. She's looking forward to the gold medal.
Yeah, lovely. Good to see. And yeah, she didn't seem too positive about whether they could beat Australia here, but let's hope that they bring a great match and it's a great tussle for the fans, but also for Australia.
Well, there you go. We have now played both semi-finals. When the coverage returns later, we're going to have the bronze medal match. But for now, China have deserved everything they got. They are off to the gold medal here in Manly, and we will see you next time. It will be the bronze medal game.
Sydney, surrounded by pristine national parks, riverways, stunning water views, iconic beaches, and coastal walks from the north to the south, all with the beautiful harbour at its heart. You'll love every second of Sydney. Discover more at sydney.com.